This case now isn't about who killed Tupac. It's about whether the government crossed a constitutional line trying to prove it. Because right now, a judge isn't deciding guilt or innocent. The judge is deciding whether police bent the rules to get inside a man's home. And if that line was crossed, some of the most important evidence in the case could vanish. Now the facts. Nearly 30 years after Tupac Shakur was murdered, prosecutors charged Duane Keffe D. Davis. But this case didn't begin with a confession or a new witness. It began with a nighttime search warrant, one of the most intrusive tools law enforcement has. Police entered Davis's home after dark and seized electronic devices they believe connect him to the crime. That decision to search at night is now the pressure point of the entire case. Let's examine the state's argument. Yes, the state says this was all lawful. Their argument goes like this. Davis had publicly discussed the killing for years. Investigators believed evidence could be lost or destroyed. A judge reviewed the affidavit and approved the search. And here's their safety net. Even if timing was not ideal, the evidence would have been found anyway. That's the doctrine of inevitable discovery. In plain terms, even if you don't like how we did it, the result would have been the same. The defense says this was not urgency, it was an inflation. They're not claiming police fabricated evidence, but they are claiming that they oversold the danger to unlock a nighttime shortcut. Their argument is simple. Davis wasn't on the run. He was not violent in 2023. And there was no true emergency. Nighttime searches are supposed to be rare, not a convenience. Now let's cross-examine the case. The judge has to answer two questions that pull in the opposite directions. The first question, did police really need to search at night? Second, if you remove the urgency language, does the warrant still stand? Because if the nighttime aspect of the entry was what made the search possible, suppression is completely on the table. There's no middle ground here. With such emotion, this is the moment that every judge dreads. Because the decision is not even about Tupac, it's about how much latitude the government gets with a case this famous. The law in this case is important to understand how the judge will rule. Courts suppress evidence only when police materially mislead the judge. Not for sloppy wording, not for aggressive language, but for statements that challenge the outcome. The legal question is simple. Would the judge have signed this warrant without the urgency claim? If yes, the evidence stays. If no, it should go. Now let's turn to my ruling. If I were the judge on this case, here's how I would rule. I don't think this search needed to happen at night. The urgency was overstated. But I also don't see proof that officers intentionally misled the court. Probable cause, based on the underlying facts, still existed. A daytime warrant almost certainly would have been approved by the judge. So, in this case, I would deny suppression, but barely. And I would make this clear to the prosecution. This was the edge of the constitutional cliff. Push it further next time, and the evidence very well may not survive. In the end, this issue isn't even about Tupac. It's whether constitutional limits still mean something when the stakes are high. Because once courts stop enforcing those limits, they don't come back easily. Thanks for watching. If you want real analysis without the fluff, please subscribe. And for deeper coverage of this case and hundreds more, visit crimesdigest.com. And always remember, the truth matters and so does reasonable doubt. See you in the next case.